sir.
Or not. Works either way.
Good evening and welcome to the March 30th meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. Before we get started, any electronic devices or cell phones, if you could please silence them, be greatly appreciated. If you're here to speak on any of the applications, and we encourage you to do so if you are, you have to take the podium. Please give your name for the recording secretary, and please speak into the microphone at all times as we're being recorded by FCTV. All right, first up is a request to continue under notice of intent. Robert and Lorraine Williams, 26 Eel River Road, East Falmouth. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant's representative is requesting a continuance until April 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Why?
Death in the family.
Thank you.
The third is
13th.
Okay, so we have a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Perch Pond Preservation, Inc., Perch Pond Navigation Channel and nearby beaches, East Falmouth, Mass. Jen.
Again, Mr. Chairman, the applicant's representative is requesting a continuance until April 13th.
So moved.
Second. Why?
Because they were out with MES today. MES was doing an initial kind of just grab survey of the dredge channel. And they were participating in that. I did send them an email to let them know that that may not be sufficient enough for this board and that a full shellfish survey will be required, and they understand that.
Very good, thank you.
So we have a motion by Mary and a second by Mike. Any other comments, questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Penzance Point Nominee Trust, care of William Marino, trustee, 153 Penzance Road, Woods Hole, Mass. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance to April 13th. They are still waiting for the Loma.
So moved.
Apparently, it's on its way.
Great. Okay, we have a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary. Questions or comments from the commission? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Continued request under a existing amended order of conditions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant's representative is requesting a continuance to April 13th for the same reason that they continued 26 Eel River Road.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that's 93 T-ticket path. So we got a motion by Betsy, second by Courtney.
It's going to be a busy night.
Well,
Okay.
Penzance should just be,
Oh.
Penzance should be easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they either have the Loma or they don't.
yep. No, very true.
It's easy so far.
Hopefully it'll come in for them. They've been
Yeah.
waiting and
Yeah.
we can get that squared away, put that one to bed. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Request for determination of applicability. National Grid, 265 Thomas B. Landers Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install approximately 275 linear feet of 2-inch diameter PVC pipe for the existing main at the intersection of Jaget Road and Thomas B. Landers Road to the residents at 265 Thomas B. Landers Road. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we were recommending a -2 under the bylaw, a -3 with the state, but the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
So motion by Courtney and second by Mike. Any other comments, questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. National Grid, 2 Massasoit Street, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install approximately 50 linear feet of 2-inch diameter PVC pipe from the existing main in front of 5 Massasoit Street to the residents at 2 Massasoit Street. Jen.
Mark's recommendation is a -2 under both the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not
So
confirmed.
moved.
Second.
Courtney on the motion and Betsy on the second. Any other comments, questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Luba
Yeah.
Gankin, 341 Shorewood Drive, Falmouth, Mass, with permission to install approximately 64 linear feet of stockade fence in a flood zone AE and within 100 foot of the buffer to the salt marsh and bordering vegetated wetlands, BVW. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Courtney, second by Betsy. Any questions or comments from the?
Question.
Go ahead, Bill.
Um,
Get you next.
It's not clear to me how many of these 19 trees are in jurisdiction and if there's going to be any planting to compensate for that.
Tom Bunker, the applicant. I haven't counted up what's within your jurisdiction. Jurisdiction goes to about the, middle of the house there. There is
They don't have
condition-
a plan. Tom.
We don't have a plan, so-
So I'm gonna go
You
give,
don't have a plan.
they don't
Not
have.
for RDAs, no.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll give you this one here.
And-
Well, there's a note on it that says Mark is gonna meet with the arborist Hamilton before any work is done.
Looks like a bunch of saplings.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
I mean, the 8-inch might meet the height requirement for a tree.
8-inch, 10-inch, 10-inch, 16-inch. Is this where the trees have failed attempt at privacy? Do you know?
I don't know if the trees were planted there. I think some might be stump sprouts or something. But there are a lot of saplings, and now the new owner wants a better attempt at privacy from the clubhouse and the pool area.
Well, my question's been, I guess, answered. For the moment, we don't really have an answer right now. So,
There's no planting proposed.
Yeah.
To answer that, but they'll be cut and sprout back.
So Hamilton Tree's going to talk with Mark, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Mark talked with them yesterday, and I added note 7 there, that the arborist shall meet with conservation staff prior to start bedding work. to
Okay.
Review what's to be done.
Well,
Do you want to continue
I'm
it, Mary?
not
until Mark-
necessarily. What I was going to say is that I'm willing to leave it with Mark, but just let him know that it's been raised as a concern. Now,
Okay,
his judgment is okay with me.
no, that's fine.
Courtney?
Oh, you want to see the plan right here?
Just reading it and listening to the discussion, I mean, what concerns me is there's too much up in the air here at this point.
Maybe so.
And I would rather see them continue it, get it nailed down, come back with the definitive deal.
What has to be nailed down?
Well, yeah, but I'm reading about trees that may be going and some that aren't, and unless I'm missing something.
We show every tree on the plan, and Mark is satisfied.
What say you, Madam Commissioner?
I'm not a commissioner.
Madam
I used to
Administrator.
be. All right.
I mean, if
I
you're,
mean, Mark was okay.
if you're comfortable
There,
with
wait a
it,
minute,
I'm
there's the
happy.
A-zone. There's the B. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I mean, doesn't 2-inch fall below the definition of a tree?
2-inch does, yes.
Yes. I mean, there are a lot of things that we show that fall below what you would treat.
Tom, can you come here for 1 second for me? So if I'm following this,
8 inches.
he definitively has to take out these two. So this is the water. Here's the match line up to the road. So 1, 2, none in Zone A, it looks like,
But it has
correct? That's your Zone A. right?
There's
That's a
zone A,
split
there's a
zone.
zone A up to here, but nothing, nothing
Yeah.
up to there.
So then, Mary, it looks like there's 2 oaks removed. He puts all the trees on the plan, but 2 oaks removed in Zone B. It doesn't look like any are being removed in Zone A. And then there's 1, 2 right on the very landward edge of the B. And if that's another A, where's the other B? Or is that the salt marsh A? Might be the salt marsh A, probably the salt marsh A.
Well, if we're talking about 2 trees in jurisdiction, I'll drop it.
Of course, it's all flood zone, so it's all jurisdiction.
It's all jurisdiction because it's all flood zone, but you asked the A and B. Didn't you say buffer zone or jurisdiction?
I-
I'm sorry.
Well, it's all
I
in
think I-
jurisdiction.
It's all in jurisdiction,
Yeah.
but the A and B, I mean, there's nothing being removed in the A buffer, and there's only 2, possibly 4 being removed in the B buffer.
So if everything's in jurisdiction, where are the other 15 trees being removed from?
They're in flood zone.
Flood.
That's why
Oh,
they're in
okay.
jurisdiction.
All right.
Mike, do you have something?
I found Mark to be more conservative than I am. If he is comfortable with what's proposed, I am comfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't clear to me that the
Yeah.
proposal was on the table yet. That's why I said that.
No, that's fine. But I'll let him know the questions raised and ask him to just be a little bit more clear or meet with these guys a little sooner next time. Okay?
Thank you.
No, not a problem.
Okay, so
why we're here.
who made the motion on this?
I made the motion,
You made a motion to accept staff's recommendation.
so I'm okay with it.
And Betsy seconded, is that what it was, Suzanne?
Yep.
Susan? Okay, so if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to call for the vote. Questions or comments from the public? None? Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Mary Lou De Silva, 169 Walker Street, Falmouth, Mass., for permission to expand the existing deck by 141 square feet and remove 98 square feet of paved driveway. Proposed work is within the buffer to the bordering vegetated wetland and land under water bodies, Sitters Pond. Jen?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
So Courtney and Betsy on the second. Comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions to the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstention, unanimous, so moved. Okay, continued request for determination of applicability. Eric and Emile Fashion, 336 West Falmouth Highway, West Falmouth, Mass., for permission to pump, fill, and abandon the existing cesspools, install a new Title V sewage disposal system, native shrubs, and the associated clearing, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as your staff report says, Mark received a new plan the other day showing that the septic tank had been moved to protect the areas of his concern. And so we're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Courtney, a second by Mary. Comments, questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, request for hearing under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. And first up tonight, we have Maureen and Peter Erickson, 10 Loomis Lane, West Falmouth, Mass., for permission to construct several small additions to the existing house, install a Title V sewage disposal system, relocate the existing driveway, install walkways, AC unit, and generator pads, and install 540 square feet of native plantings with all the associated clearing, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any more questions until after the applicant's presentation.
All right. Evening, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Jeff Ryther, BSS Design, representing the Ericksons.
Right here.
Briefly, I'm going to go over the resource areas. This is West Falmouth Harbor. Loomis Lane is out here. Have land under the ocean, a strip of salt marsh, then a coastal bank, a little flat area at the top of that bank. And then we have land subject to coastal storm flowage up to the AE 15. And that kind of wraps around here and blends into the AE 17. The majority of the project is in the X, meaning not in the flood zone, but there are some minor things in the flood zone, including the planting. Get back this away here.
I'm gonna move it out.
So the project is several small additions to the strip of the house. It's a kind of a linear home here, parallel to the road.
Maybe it'll be-
It starts to the north. By the way, the architecture's by John Dvorak, and he's come up with an extension off the back of the garage, which is going to be for a wood shop, and it's about 5 feet in width. A couple of feet in width off to the front to sort of change the architecture of the garage. Then there's this link, that John's called it, between the garage and the main part of the house. And that'll be one of the entries in a new walkway. There's a little small deck out the back with stairs down. The next item is a dining room addition towards the street. There's a little fill-in area here that we're going to, it's a little niche there, and that's going to be filled in. The patio in the back to be removed. In its place, a screen porch. Next to it, a deck. And off of that deck, a paved patio. So we're going south. We have a small addition. This is for an office, right here. New entry, opposite that. And lastly, at the end, there's an existing garage that's going to be removed, which became a family room. It's a family room today, and a much smaller room is going back. That's the master bedroom on the first floor. So that's the additions to the house, all within the X flood zone, but within the buffer of Coastal Bank. Going back to Coastal Bank. So we have the main Coastal Bank here. Then you'll see the contours widen out. We'll lose our Coastal Bank. Now this is the 50-foot and then the 100-foot from the Coastal Bank. As you get into that grove of cedar trees, the slope varies from about 9-to-1 to 6-to-1. Some areas fragmented Coastal Bank. So we have this top of secondary Coastal Bank here. This is in orange on my plan. And then a 100-foot buffer for that. So the whole project is within a buffer of a Coastal Bank. But we find that it's in the B buffer. So going to the front yard again, we have a septic upgrade. It's actually a 4-bedroom house, currently 4-bedroom going back, but there is this small addition to this room, which is the office, and by definition, the office is a bedroom. So we're designing for a 5-bedroom septic in a reserve. We'd also like to replace the water service.
Bedroom.
So down here at the septic system is the existing driveway, and that'll all come out. And then we would like to pave a looped driveway, blend it into the driveway into the current detached garage. So that's about it. Down at the shoreline, we calculated that we needed, oh, no, I got a couple more items, I'm sorry. We calculated 910 or 902 square feet required. We're proposing 910 of native shrubs here. See them kind of laid out there. The call out for that is here. In the notice of intent, we show a report by an arborist, because the Ericksons are concerned about, well, many of the trees actually, but they had 3 cedars flagged out there by Bartlett, their arborist, Tim, and I forgot his last name, it's in the notice. We found that there was some issues with these trees, and they're weakened and rotten in many places, cabled together. They're about 60 feet tall. John Dvorak, in the back of the notice, put together a diagram of the tree as if it, in profile view, and if it were to fall, where it would land on the house. So it's almost to the last page, but it's a nice diagram. I think that, along with the report, you may see the concerns of the Ericksons of these 3 cedar trees. They also found that there's an oak tree here shown to come out, it's 12-inch in diameter. It's diseased. I'm not sure exactly what it has, but it's dead, and it's very tall. So they want to cut that one out, along with those 3 cedars. There's other cedars that are diseased but not ready to come out. They're marked in yellow, if you were out there, but we're not going to take those. We would like to replant those 3 cedars, the cedars here in the A buffer. Because we were at close to 1,000 square feet, we're required to plant a tree per 1,000 square feet of mitigation. So that tree is here, also in the A buffer. And that concludes my presentation.
Jen?
Jeff, explain to me this 100 buffer zone B.
Okay. Well, in fact, here's Tom. Tom and I went over this. I probably should have given you a call, but we thought we had it worked out pretty well. In the
Oh, wait, I want to follow
the
along.
edit to Coastal Bank,
What was that?
you made an edit some years ago.
No, wrong one.
I believe it was 2010.
Okay.
And it says it's part 18.5A4. Part A, non-eroding coastal banks,
Hold it.
not in the velocity zone.
5A4. So what's the buffer zone? Yep, okay, 5A4, got it.
It says here that for that, you'll have a 25-foot A zone for Part A, non-eroding coastal bank, not in the velocity zone, with a slope greater than 4 to 1, and not adjacent to other resource areas, but within 100 feet of other coastal resource areas. Okay, so we have all that. We are within 100 feet of the initial coastal bank, within 100 feet of the salt marsh. But the issue is the coastal bank that we're chatting about here is not steeper than 4 to 1.
Where are your transects on that?
Well, I can give you that, but it's very easy to follow along with the scale. You'll see that nothing is close to 4 to 1 in this range. In fact, the coastal bank is here marked in orange on my plan. Then there's a flat area here of no coastal bank. Then the coastal bank begins to pick up in the area of 7, 8 to 1. Right here it's fragmented, no coastal bank right there, no coastal bank right there. It's an area that it just barely makes coastal bank when you put out the, we have digital level out there, and There are some areas right in here that are coastal bank.
Okay.
Those are about 7 to 1 right in there. If you have the distance between them.
And do you have
So,
a,
I just wanted to continue with this, if you wouldn't mind. So, there's also Part B to this regulation, but it wasn't edited in 2010. It was changed back in 2008. And it basically says the width of the Zone B, the outer buffer, extends landward. Zone A, the distance of 100 feet. If Zone A is not given a specific width, then Zone B is presumed to be the start of the boundary of the resource area, the width of the Zone A. Shall, be 100 feet when added to part or Zone B. But in this case, we don't have a Zone A because we don't need this, which is the edit of 2010. So the entire buffer of the flat coastal bank, where it's the flat general slope, is 100 feet.
go back to the first part where it says, and not adjacent to other wetland resource areas as defined in 10.021A through E?
We talking Part A?
Mm-hmm.
4A.
Are you
Well, the issue is
are
that
subject to, are you within an A zone? Yeah, you have to be.
we are adjacent to coastal bank in the neighborhood.
Okay. It said non-eroding coastal banks not in a velocity zone with a slope greater and not adjacent to other wetland resource
We
areas.
have a less than 4 to 1. So that's where the switch is. I'm assuming when you say greater than 4 to 1, you mean deeper than 4 to 1. You have flatter than 4 to 1. So I think from there you go to Part B. If you don't have an A, then you have a 100-foot B. Just like you have a 100-foot A for salt marsh. On a very flat coastal bank, you have a 100-foot B.
How about 3E where it says all of the coastal banks adjacent to other resource areas, other than those listed above?
Part E, I don't have any.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 4A and B.
Well, I'm not on 4, I'm on 3.
This B doesn't go with the A, this B goes.
Right, it's.
No,
a whole new
actually,
thing.
it's adjacent to the other coastal bank.
Well, no, it's not. I mentioned more than once that there's a flat spot right through here where there's a coastal bank up to this line that's got the triangle here,
Got it?
and then there's a flat area,
Okay.
and then there's no adjacent, then it picks up again right about
Well,
here,
how wide's your flat area?
about 40 feet wide. It's around.
Okay, I'm
this
not
whole-
gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna have this, like, argument where and not to say it to you, Jeff, the other day on what constitute adjacent when we had the presentation by Holmes and McGrath, and they were 2 feet away from being what they called adjacent. So the board's gonna have to make a determination on this. I mean, what do you consider adjacent, what not? What's your width?
Well,
I mean, if this is what we're gonna get, no, and I mean, now it's been raised twice in 2 weeks, Jeff, so the board's gonna have to determine.
well,
That's all.
this one is,
No, I mean, you're a
If you
lot
look at
wider
it,
than
it's-
2 feet,
it's-
I'll give you that.
it's almost obvious if you go to the site.
Yeah, oh,
see
yeah.
that It's flattened right
It
there.
flattens out. No, I get it, Jeff.
Um,
I have one other question for you,
I
Jeff.
have no issue right here, this is very obvious, it's a bank,
Yeah.
goes right down to the salt marsh, it's adjacent to, that marsh is adjacent to the waterway, so there's no doubt about that, that this has an A and a B
Yeah.
buffer. But then there's a flat spot, and then there's coastal bank
Okay.
again.
I have another question, Jeff, and it has nothing to do with coastal banks. A little bit to do with coastal banks. Do you have like a color schematic of what you're removing and what you're replacing? Did you bring one?
I don't, but kind of right here.
Well, I know, but the walkway, so this walk going to the proposed,
There's two new walkways here, to the link.
yeah, the
and
link,
then to the
so,
new front entry.
yeah, are those part of the impervious calculations?
Oh, yeah, it's part of the driveway calculation.
You included that in the driveway calc?
That's up in here, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's all I wanted to know, Jeff. Okay, thank you.
Jamie?
Clarify the bedrooms for me. How many existing?
4.
4 existing, you're adding 2?
No, we're
By your
adding,
definition?
by definition, we're adding 1 because we're adding an office. It's small, but
In the
it's
bedroom addition in lieu of the family room?
correct.
So you were
That-
counting the family room as a bedroom?
Well, that's what the town must have as a bedroom, because
You're doing
they're saying
bedroom
there's 4.
In the new system,
There's really
5.
three with that, and then the,
And there's dry wells on there. Thank you.
yeah, we got 6 dry wells.
Yeah.
No questions.
Betsy?
I have 2 questions. One is, see where the patio is in front, next to the proposed deck?
Oh, yeah, I know where it is.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I want to see.
I was gonna get my pen.
You ready?
All right, go ahead.
All right. I think what I heard you say, on the plan it says remove patio, and it says patio. I think I heard you say that you're gonna remove the patio, but actually you're gonna use that space for a screened porch.
That's true, but there's also another patio similar to that one in worse shape and about twice as large that's coming out.
Where is
It's
that?
right here. It says remove patio, right on,
This one?
right in the center of the house, pretty much,
Yep.
right here.
Well, where's the screened porch gonna be?
The
Further up.
screen porch, let me
It's going over the
okay.
old patio.
Up there.
Isn't that what
Okay.
that bold line is around the smaller patio, Jeff?
Yeah, I
Right,
got it.
That's the screen porch.
That's the screen porch.
I got it.
Yeah, we got
I
it.
got it.
Then there's a deck adjacent to it. Then the patio south of that, I'm calling it south, but
Okay.
south of that's coming off and just staying.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
Got it. The inches of cedar trees that you're removing, well, cedar trees plus 1 oak, is 76 inches.
I realize they're quite large.
So I would like you, well, either you to offer right now to be more generous, or we'll be more generous, especially since you say some of the other cedars aren't doing too well, that we'll ask you to put some more, scatter some more cedars there.
Well, one of the things is that it is a little tight down in here. The reason we gathered all the shrubs in this area here for mitigation is this area here, there are several quite large trees, and they cast a shadow in here. And I was down there, and the best sun is right there for growing. And so we didn't put anything on this side. Also, there was an opening right here near this parcel Y. By the way, parcel Y is on a lot that can't be built on, and neither can that. That's owned by the Ericksons. Anyway, we showed the 3 trees here because there's a bit of an opening in that location. The lot's kind of tight for trees in the A buffer. We
Well-
might be able to do something in the front yard.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
Okay.
We as a group will discuss it. But, and I want to make one more comment. I was extremely pleased with the staking on this. This was the 3rd one I went to, and I'm like, wow, this is great. I can see exactly where everything is. And it makes it much easier when you go out there. And even though I knew where this house was, it was also, as soon as you turned on the street, it was easy to see where it was. I'm just saying that, obviously you guys are from the same place. I'm throwing that out there for other engineers.
Well, I appreciate it. That's work for Dean Brown, our surveyor.
Yeah, well, give him an attaboy
Very well.
from me.
Mike?
No, I'm good, very clear.
Thank you.
Kristen?
No questions.
Courtney?
No questions.
Jim, you all set?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second?
So we got a motion by Betsy and a second by Jamie. Close the hearing, take it under advisement. Any other comments, questions from the commission? Comments, questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Oh, I'm sorry, Betsy.
I'm just gonna say that when it comes to deliberation, we might put in as a condition to watch those other cedar trees, so that it may be replaced as needed. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm sorry I missed it.
The problem out there, it's not really a problem, but it's,
I
the
understand,
artisans want to make a nice investment in a home, and they got these 70-foot trees, or 60, I think.
they're beautiful, it's beautiful, standing at the home and looking out through
They,
those.
oh no, he wants to keep it, but he also doesn't want to.
To them to fall, I
Yeah,
understand that.
especially on the house.
Right. Right.
Okay, so no comments, questions from the public. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, next up is...
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jim. Have a nice night. Next up is Kenneth and Julian Webb, 60 Rivers End Road, East Falmouth, Mass., for permission to construct and maintain an addition, porch, walkway, remove shed, and relocate and reconstruct driveway with permeable pavers with all associated clearing, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll save any more comments until after Mr. Duncan's presentation.
Good evening, Tom.
I'm gonna take the other driveway back and proceed.
Oh, well, what can I say?
Net zero.
Sorry, Don's starting off.
Good evening, Tom Bunker with BSS Design. Prepared this plan for the Webbs. We're on 60 Rivers End Road, house was built in 1991. The dock was built later in 2002 into Great Pond. Great Pond, the coastal pond, there's a flood zone AE elevation 14, runs up along the shore. The property going from the salt marsh along Great Pond up the hill to elevation 22, fairly steep as you've been out there. It's up to the flood zone and then extends above the flood zone because it's steeper than 4-to-1 slope. We have that coastal bank shown on the plan, and the A zone from the salt marsh, 100-foot A zone from the salt marsh comes through here, and the 100-foot A zone, or 50-foot A zone from the coastal bank runs through here. I don't have it highlighted. In this area, this coastal bank is adjacent to another wetland resource area, the salt marsh, so it's a 50-foot buffer. No 2-foot gap or anything.
Thank you.
So at the house there, in this area, there's two-car garage underneath. There's a large paved driveway in this area, a deck overhanging toward the bank here, septic system up under a lawn there in this northeast corner. Like this. What the Webbs are proposing is put on an addition, mostly within the paved area. It's rather complicated, showing what's new coverage and not new coverage. I have a diagram up top here showing the different coverage areas, the changes in coverage. And basically, The house is on 5 feet from the top of the coastal bank. Over here, the proposed addition is 11 feet from the top of the coastal bank, over toward this location here. So it's not coming closer to a resource area. And as I said, it's virtually all within the paved area of the existing driveway right here. And this entire part of the addition is not increasing coverage. In addition, a note on the existing conditions plan, the entire paved driveway will be removed. Some of this area right here will be vegetated from what is now pavement, will be vegetated. This will be vegetated where the shed is being removed and revegetated in this location. An area, this vegetated area is in the A zone. This area here, which is paved and going into a crushed stone surface, which is still considered impervious or considered not to support natural vegetation, so that the category of coverage is not changing. This will be a crushed stone surface because they want to put a couple of parking spaces. That's where they put the boat. If you went out there, there's a boat there now, but this is where they'll be putting the boat in the winter, in this crushed stone area. The remainder of the driveway here that will be removed will be repaved with pervious pavers. I have a detail of the pervious paver on the 3rd page. This is in the B zone, and then the pervious paver driveway will go through, or there's partly lawn and partly some landscape area up to here. Pervious pavers, pervious surfaces do not require mitigation in a B zone in your regulations. They have the coverage change chart up here. Basically in the A zone, there'll be a reduction of 39 square feet of coverage in the A zone and a reduction of 110 feet of coverage in the B zone, and that's mostly from the elimination of the driveway. So net, there is a reduction in coverage in both A and B zones. I think it'll be certainly a positive benefit for the closest area to the resource areas on top of the bank. The pavement will be removed, part of it will be vegetated. It will increase the drainage capacity, will decrease the runoff from the site. There will be dry wells added for the roof runoff. This other area here, which is in the B zone, becoming a pervious paver, will reduce any runoff that goes into the road, which could then go around the corner and go down the boat ramp, which is right next door. I believe this meets your requirements, your regulations, and as a reduction in coverage and some new vegetation closest to the resource area. I believe this actually is a benefit, an environmental improvement to the site. I'll take your questions.
Thank you, Tom. Jen?
How many stories is that addition?
It's not fully designed yet. It's a garage with, I'm actually not sure if it's 1 or 1.5 stories above that.
I'm just concerned about the limit of work. I know it's tight over there.
It's tight there. I'll point out that in this location, there's a line through there. This corner of the addition through here, it's actually on posts. It says it's open underneath. There'll be access from the steps on the deck. You can walk underneath, cut through there. And so on this side, say for maintenance, there's more than 10 feet along this side, and there's room on this side. It is tight right through here. Again, traffic won't be going through there on this side. and then have some stepping stones and duck under it and then come out the other side.
But what about when they're trying to build it, Tom? I don't care about the limits of work when the project's done, I care about the limits of work when they're actually trying to construct the
Well,
project.
as far as digging and foundation, it shouldn't be a problem. This is cross wall depth, not an 8-foot deep hole, and staging, I don't know if people still put up
Okay,
staging or however they do it. Okay.
Yeah, so how are they, that's what I'm wondering, how are you gonna put up the staging, and how are you gonna dig that frost wall when you only have 2 feet? Which is, by the way, the width of this plan for illustration. I think this way. No, this way.
Along.
I'm just curious.
Well, I can
You know
put-
what, I'll leave it for Jamie.
Yeah. They put staging along, there's plenty of
I like
staging
his
on the
image.
side, and like I said, at the end. I mean, It is tight at the corner. Well,
You know, that's the, and the only other thing that, you know, I'm gonna ask, and the board to look at is the pavement to paver coverage calc that they're employing here. Other than that, I have no questions. We pulled the old files, they were all about the dock, it was fine. The house on the old file looks like the house now, so don't really have any other questions.
Thanks, Jen. Courtney?
Yeah, I have concerns about that limit of work. Where it's only 2 feet off, I'm okay with, you know, what is it, sonotubes you want to put this on?
Yeah, sonotube footing and then probably a wooden post going up the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right on that part of it. But, okay, now let's take, the floor elevation would be how many feet off the ground?
For the
8 feet?
floor, it might be 9 feet up.
Okay, so the first one, and then you get up to, if you're putting windows in, that would be another 3 feet up, 4 feet up. And then if you're doing roofing, there's an overhang on this thing. I mean, there's gonna be a, roof is gonna come down, so that's maybe a soffit of 8 or 9, 10 inches, maybe more. I'm still dealing with the 4-footers. So I'm a carpenter and I want to install the windows.
How you doing?
How am I going to put my, where am I gonna put my ladder down?
Well,
I need to be 4 or 5 feet off that
no
building.
window going in the corner here, the windows would be along the side where there is adequate space. It's at the corner where it's,
No,
Is there a window in the
I
back,
hear you,
Tom?
but Tom, I've had to deal with this kind of a situation in real life.
yeah.
In fact, with a limit of work imposed by your firm. And,
Conservation Commission.
you know, and,
Hey, they don't draw it, you guys do.
see,
Don't blame them.
So, you know, and we don't have the advantage of sky hooks. You know, so what, I need to understand, it's a very practical issue. You're gonna put ladders and staging down, and you're gonna be climbing up and down staging, you probably get at least 3 feet off the building. You're gonna be shingling things, you're gonna be putting windows in, you're gonna be getting up on the roof, you're gonna put roofing on, and you're doing siding, and it's damn near impossible to do that when you only have 2 feet of working space.
Again,
I mean,
what I could do,
yeah.
yeah. Now, I understand it, the 2 feet, and again, that's in the corner, but I mean, great.
I mean, you and I have worked on some projects where we've had 2-foot limit of work, but it's been an entirely different situation. And so I appreciate the dilemma you are in, I'm just talking about, I'm as a contractor, and Jamie will back this up. How do you do this practically?
And Tom, the whole point of me being concerned about limits of work is so that the guys doing this work have an adequate space to work. I mean, how
Safe.
many, you know, I've spent years arguing
So why can't we
with you
push
guys
it?
about 2-foot limits of work.
Because we haven't gotten down the
Can I-
table yet.
Oh, is there a window on the back, Tom?
Probably. I don't know, again,
It would be a shame if there wasn't one.
Why would you not put a window?
Well, yeah, why wouldn't you put a window in
Oh, I
that?
forgot about the gutters. The guy's putting the gutters on. That's another one.
Let me just
Guys,
say,
there are ways to deal with this. There's room to expand the limit of
can
work.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
can I
Bump
extend the
it out
limit of work
for-
to where the shed
Shed
is?
is.
right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Make the limit, don't kill these guys. Bump out the limit of work to where the shed is, where are you gonna put the shrub?
Take down the shed, expand the limit of work.
Work.
around that area,
Perfect.
And then make it nice and tidy when
And
you
then it's
leave.
gonna be vegetated,
Afterwards.
you know, all that.
Be a lot safer.
Perfect.
Yeah, it will.
And
That's
a budget
good.
for a genie.
Hallelujah.
You all set, Court?
I'm happy.
Good. Kristen?
I just have a question. The proposed addition is for what? Does it change the bedrooms?
No new bedrooms, family room, expansion of the dining room, I believe.
And most of it's in the A zone?
All of it's in the, well, no, yeah, most of it's in
And
the.
I just have a question about that,
Mm-hmm.
going from driveway to,
Well, it's still
Built.
impervious surface, whether or not you have a building or pavement. We're still dealing with the same ground, we deal with ground coverage,
okay,
so, or at least that's the way we've always handled it, is dealing like bird's eye view ground coverage,
okay,
Yeah, not coming closer.
and not coming closer.
thank you.
I'm comfortable.
Okay, Mike. Betsy?
We'll discuss the pavement, paver calculations, but other than that. Nice site, be nice when it's done.
Mary?
On behalf of Maury, since she's not here, I'll make this very small comment, that we're not using the term Falmouth-friendly lawn anymore. It's because of the nutrient bylaw, nitrogen bylaw. So, it's not, I don't believe it's on the plan, it's in your narrative. I just, somebody's gotta say it when Maury's not here.
I'll learn eventually.
That's all for me, thank you.
Jamie?
No changes to septic, no additional bedrooms.
Correct.
And I just agree with the pushing out the limit of work, make it
Take care of that
safer
issue.
workspace.
So I move to close the hearing and take it under advisement
Second.
with the provision that you modify your plan and get it into Jen before we vote this,
Absolutely.
Thank you,
with an
Jim.
revised limit of work.
Second.
So we have a motion by Betsy, the second by Courtney. Any other comments, questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tom.
Tom.
Can I ask a question? This won't change anything that we've done.
Okay,
So
hold on.
I'm a little reluctant, it's like walking under a ladder. I don't like to walk under a big boat. But was it marked out? Did anybody notice where the addition was?
A couple hours out there yesterday, somewhere that they had painted, I don't know what being used, not the usual paint.
So
They were-
it wasn't obvious to you? I mean, you thought it was
I
vacant?
knew where to look, and there was, there's a stake here, and I saw something here, but it was not gonna
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, it wasn't crystal clear.
So red mistake, that's
Well,
what.
the only thing that, right, the only thing, I mean, I could figure this one out. But it was, I figured somewhere under the boat, there must have been a marking. And I said, I know what they want to do here, I'm not going under the boat.
Don't go under the boat.
Don't think of the tires.
No, I know.
Courtney,
Just a quick comment. Part of my concern about having a heart palpitation on this limited work thing is that what happens is if it doesn't get questioned, it gets drawn onto the plan, gets written in the order, and then down the road, contractors and everybody else will have to work with it as a practical matter. And that's usually when it becomes more difficult to modify. So, that's
Absolutely.
why my point.
Okay. Thank you, Court. All right. Thanks, Tom. Moving on. Mark Tessia, 67 Carl Handy Circle, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install a Title V sewage disposal system and install mitigation plantings to comply with outstanding order of conditions and unpermitted alterations of the property. Jen?
I'll save any of my comments until
Oh,
after
okay.
Mr. Brivog's presentation.
Thanks.
This is Mr. Brivogel.
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Brivogel. I'm representing Diane and Tessier, the owners of the property. Property's located at 67 Howland Circle. Jen, did you want to make any comments?
No, I'll
Okay.
save him until after your presentation, Ken.
The project consists of two parts. One is replacement of a failed modified septic system. And the second part consists of plantings, total of 130 plantings, 23 trees, which is represented by the large circles, 40 shrubs, and 67 smaller shrubs. I think a history of the project for the property will help you understand what's going on here. Mr. Tessier's father purchased the property in 1983. He filed a notice of intent to build a house, put in a septic system, received an order of conditions, and he built the house, did the septic system, and received a certificate of compliance. In 1990, he requested a second notice of intent to do landscaping work. He wanted to put in a waterfall, small pond, some stone walkway, and a number of other things. The work was never done, so he requested and received a certificate of compliance in 1993. Simply said, no work was done, certificate of compliance. So sometime after 1993, Mr. Tessier, the owner at that time, he did do some unpermitted cutting and alterations to the property. Mr. Tessier, the father, died in 2013, and now his son, Mark Tessier, owns the property. So Mark Tessier, on his own initiative, went to Mark Caswick and told him the property does have some unpermitted cutting and alterations, and I want to correct it. So Mark Tessier met with Mark a number of times. Mark went out to the property several times, and they discussed what could be done, what should be done to correct the unpermitted activities on the property. Once Jack Colley's firm got involved, our firm talked to Mark also, and I've talked to Mark twice myself to try to make sure that the plan that we've proposed meets the recommendations of Mark Casper. I'm sure that it does. So to give you a brief overview of the plan, there's a new Title 5 septic system. It's located at this part of the property. It's 100 feet from an existing well here. Not shown on this plan is an old well here too. So this is the only practical place that the Title 5 could be located and be 100 feet from any existing well. So after the Title 5 work is done, any disturbed surface will be restored to its original grade, elevation, and condition. It will be reseeded with indigenous grasses. There is a small wall here that will be removed to allow the work done for the Title 5. The second part of the project is the plantings. And there is a very small part of carpet wood that's going to be done next to the house. As it exists now, there's stairways that leads down to this area. Those are going to be removed, and new stairways, steps are going to be constructed here to lead foot traffic down in this direction and away from this area where all the plantings are going to be, where the primary planting will be. We're proposing, there's an existing wall here along the waterfront and around here and back. Now, we're proposing, at Mark's recommendation, to remove this wall on the property line, remove this wall on the waterfront, and remove this section up to the ACEC line. This part of the property, there's not going to be any plantings, there's no proposed alterations except for the change in the stairs and the steps. This part of the property, the alteration will be to remove the wall and construct a new tile pond. In this part of the property, there's going to be a number of trees, as you can see, a number of shrubs that are going to be planted, and a number of smaller shrubs that will be planted. In this part of the property, also a number of plantings. Mark was concerned about the construction methodology of how we're going to remove the wall along the waterfront. So we've agreed that the work will be done by a small mini excavator that excavate dirt along this area here. They'll be put into wheelbarrows and transported to the back and placed against this wall here. So the purpose is to have, when it's all finished, have a slope along this wall about 30%, maybe 40%. The wall will be removed by hand at low tide, and it'll be sloped back this way also. Once both of the cut areas are stabilized, then the planting will be done. Mark also requested a above-ground automatic water sprinkler system to ensure that the plants would be properly watered and have a better chance of surviving, which we've agreed to do. He also requested that the planting be done as soon as possible, and in any case by May 30th, which we've also agreed to. So, in summary, I'd like to see that Mr. Mark Tessier has done nothing wrong. He's the one who came to the Conservation Commission and requested help in correcting the problem. That was done by somebody else. He's worked with Mark, and we proposed a plan that Mark has recommended to us. We believe that this is a good plan, as it significantly improves the existing conditions on the property. We ask that you approve the project as proposed.
Thank you, Mr. Bravo. Jen?
Yeah. Ken, what are your proposed grades? Is that dark line over in that area that you're gonna slope?
For the wall?
Yeah.
Okay. The water line is at elevation 6. And we're proposing to excavate down to elevation 7 and then slope the property back.
Yeah, but how are you sloping it back? Do you have any proposed grades on here?
30%.
Am I not seeing them?
30%.
But that's not shown on here.
Pardon me?
That's not shown on here. Correct?
There is a limit of work here, but, I'm sorry, there's a cut line here.
Yeah, I have the edge of cut line. That's where you're gonna cut, and then you're gonna slope it back.
Correct.
But you don't show that grading back.
Well, it's going
And
to
the
be...
reason I ask is because your wetland specialist brought that wetland line right through that. So you gotta be a little careful in that area. I mean, I know they're under a deadline to get this resolved, but don't be surprised to see a condition that we're gonna meet before they haven't done that. I know they've done some work. Mark's been out to this property many times,
Yes.
so, they haven't done the wall work yet.
No.
No, okay. So probably have a special condition to meet out there before they do the wall work, just so I know what they're doing, since it's
Okay.
it's really not clear. And another thing, Mark went over this, and I know he's been out there many times, which is why I'm perfectly comfortable with him reviewing this. There was just a few slight modifications that I picked up on the planting plan that I don't think Mark thought of, is in that same area where you have, let's say, your wetland flag 105 to, wetland flag 107, if that's really, really wet in there, clethra could do well, but it may not. So I would probably myself put in like a swamp azalea or a winterberry. So just don't be surprised if we sit there and you see a special condition changing those plants out and requiring a revised plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be acceptable.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
All set, Jim?
Yeah.
Betsy?
No questions.
He said Betsy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Been a long night, Courtney, I understand.
You've been here a while.
Why we have.
Couple of things.
Yes.
I'll start with the bad. This one was, at least when I went out there today, wasn't very clearly staked. I mean, it's nice to have like where all the elements of the septic system are gonna be staked by corners. And I saw a couple of the BBW, but that looks like it was done a long time ago, and some of those stakes were missing. And I didn't see any buffers in the field. So just in the future, but this is going to be a big improvement. This is a beautiful, beautiful site, and the Tupelos like having their feet in the water sometime. Yeah,
It'll be fine.
yeah. I mean, I think overall it's going to be really nice.
Just so you're not replacing the clethra.
Existing conditions.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't have any other questions.
Thanks, Betsy. Mary?
Do we need BVW data sheets for this?
Yes, we submitted them.
You did submit them, okay. And is the contractor doing this regrading and removal, or who's going?
Mark has recommended a contractor by the name of Coffey, I believe it is. Is that correct, Mr.? Yes. Okay. And so the plan is that it'll be done with a mini excavator and then put into wheelbarrows and the field transported back to this wall here. And the actual, when the wall comes down, that'll be done by hand.
And the regrading, he's doing the regrading, or not?
This area, I think I'm not sure whether he's going to do it by hand or by the mini excavator, but it's going to be a small amount of regrading, so.
I think that's all, thanks.
Jamie?
No more questions?
No more questions?
I have no questions.
Like Jamie, question? I have one question.
I have one
Say
comment.
it when we go back.
Mr. Breivogel.
Yes.
I'm just gonna make a quick comment. Mr. Breivogel, don't be also surprised to see a special condition that when you're grading that back, you're gonna have to stabilize that slope with some sort of jute matting. And probably put some sort of erosion control at the base until that is established. Okay?
Okay.
Jan, is this riverfront?
Yes.
Okay.
Mike?
I'm not the person to it's at the
You know what,
top.
Betsy, I'm gonna hold my, I would have to check the map of coastal rivers. I'm going to say yes, but to be definitive, I would have to double check the map of coastal
Yeah.
rivers for that.
And you'll do that before we
Yes,
deliberate?
I will.
Because we might just want to add, just to have
add
it
to
complete as to
riverfront.
what's on,
Yeah.
in this area.
And Mark and I think we're discussing it, so I can't remember what we determined. I think I told him to look at the map of
This
coastal
is,
river
if there's
map.
if you do any future work here, you want to know that ahead of time.
Sorry, Mike.
Help to know that it doesn't connect to Red Book, Red Book
No.
Road? No.
No.
It's, these are regulatory riverfront maps. Oh, over my head too.
Sorry,
Separate-
Mike, go ahead.
Distinct regulations.
That's a real forest you're planting out there, and I'm not the one to comment on it, so I'm good.
Kristen?
Well, I think it's beautiful what you've done so far when I went out there today. I have a question about the well takes precedence over the wetland? I'm just curious with the septic.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
does.
same.
Okay. And then the other question I had was, I'm not trying to say anything about Mark's decisions, but it seems like an awful lot of disturbance of that area to remove the little bit of the wall.
The wall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it's been there, but the rest of the edge of the coast looks great. So, that's it.
Courtney?
Again, no questions.
Again,
Okay, that's a
still.
Never know. Okay, anything else you're good, Jen?
Make a motion to close hearing, take it under advisement.
Second.
We got a motion by Betsy. Okay,
I have one more comment. Your presentation is very clear.
so we got a motion by Betsy and a second by Courtney.
Yes.
Close the hearing, taken under advisement. Any other comments or questions? Comments, questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Very good.
I'll just request a parcel, if it could be voted tonight, it would be greatly appreciated. To try to move the project
No,
forward.
it's not gonna happen.
No, I don't do that.
Thank you.
We know you had to ask, Hank, but
Okay, continued request for hearing under notice. Penzance Point nominee trust care of William Marino, trustee, 157 Penzance Road, Whittle, Mass. Jen,
continue.
continue. Oh, that's right, it was already discussed this already.
Again, Mr. Chairman, it's been a long night for 4 of us, 5 of us at least.
5 of us, yes.
Well, it's been a long night for those of you who weren't here too, working on other projects.
Yes, I know that.
All right,
But at least you're enjoying a change of
Beth, can you read the quorum for the next one for us, please?
this is F.W. Eaton, qualified PR trust care of Francis Eaton, 161 T-Ticket Path, East Falmouth, Mass.
Mary, Betsy, Russ, Mike, Kristen, Courtney.
You're out, Jim. No, you don't have to.
You
Look
got
at
the
me
third
now.
straw again.
Going to, yeah.
You're good.
For the record, Tim Santos from Homes and McGrath, representing the applicant. This project was before you 2 weeks ago. We reviewed the project. At that time, the board had requested some revisions to the project narrative and to the maintenance plan. We have submitted those for your review. We're hoping that the project can be finished. If you have any questions that you want to address.
Yes, then. Jen?
Give me a minute. I just opened Mr. Meaton's narrative in a plan that showed a dock, so I just kind of got thrown for a second. I am good.
You're good. Mike?
I thought the narrative was, addressed my concerns. Good.
Kristen?
No questions.
Courtney?
No questions.
Thank you. Betsy?
I thought Tim did a great job taking down all our concerns, and they were reflected in what came back to us. Thanks, Tim.
Good thing you put it to work. Mary?
No questions.
Jamie?
Well, he can't talk.
Oh, that's right.
Well, he can talk, he can talk as a member of the audience.
You talk enough for me, don't worry. Did I say that?
Whoa! Between you and Courtney. I'll make a motion to put it in the
Oh, it's on TV. We could really go and say, no, because you and
A motion by Betsy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Courtney. Take the hearing under advisement. Close the hearing, take it under advisement. Any other comments or questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
I have a question about that.
Sure. I can't even find it. I don't know where it went.
Next up is Marine Biological Laboratory care of Marie Russell, 155 Knobsco Road, Woods
No,
Hole,
there it
Mass.
is.
This has been read into the record. Jen?
Yes, I'll save any of my comments till after the representative's presentation.
Again, Tim Santos for the record, representing the applicant. At the last hearing, there were a few revisions that were requested by the board.
Yeah.
You asked us to show on the plan, it was inadvertently left off, the stumps, we've showed those on the plan. Proposing to add the white cedars. White oaks. White oaks, sorry. White oaks previously discussed. There was also talk about the FWR buffer zone on the top of the bank, as the bank did touch in a small area of DPW, so we've adjusted it to a 50-foot buffer, as previously discussed. And we also added onto the plan the natural heritage rare species priority line, all works outside of that zone. So I believe those are the three main things the board asked for. So if anybody has any questions, we'd be more than happy to discuss it.
Jen?
I don't have any questions.
No questions? Okay, good. Betsy?
I didn't, is this all that came back in?
No.
What else came in?
The letter?
Oh, no, I got the little letter.
Yeah, the letter and the plan.
So, here's what I don't understand, what I don't quite get, is where the 3 oak trees are gonna go.
It's, we can show you, but on the 11 by 17 that was submitted, it shows them.
What 11 by 17?
This,
Maria Hickey from Maria Hickey
You got your
Landscapes.
letter. Open your letter.
oh, never got that, by the way.
Do you want my copy to read? While you're,
If I could look at, just
Got
look
it.
at
Get the plan for a
Got
second.
it. Okay.
Oh, okay, I'll just look at this one, thank you.
I wanted to preface, you can yell at me later. I know that there are the 3 stumps there from the white oaks that were not included on the original site plan. And when I went out and walked the site numerous times and met with conservation, met with Jeff Johnson, met with the MBL, my feeling, when we plant trees, I want to put in a good-sized tree, and I want it to not only survive, I want it to thrive. There's a very dense canopy overhead from existing mature trees, and I worry about putting in new trees that aren't going to receive adequate sunlight. And I know that we hadn't included 3 more trees, because we already have 12 that we're adding. And you guys had requested that we replace these 3 white oaks. And I just wanted to give you the history of why, from the word go, we hadn't included those on the site plan. Because I just felt from a professional standpoint, we're getting into an issue that they're competing for sunlight, and they're not going to get enough. They'll survive, but they won't thrive. And there's a big difference. And we're putting in so many shrubs and other plantings that entire property will be magnificent. Literally wall-to-wall plants. And I just hate to see a tree not prosper and thrive.
Absolutely. You still got the
I look at this from a functional viewpoint, and as many shrubs as you had, a tree does much more in terms of impacting the environment, helping the environment, just because the volume, the surface area of the root system. And I think it's important, to have these trees.
And I don't disagree, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that because there are some extremely large trees with huge canopies there, they're gonna block the sunlight of the new trees that get planted. So the benefit of putting in new trees may not be realized as great as we would like. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'll agree with you with that.
And so I just wanted to
But
say.
if something happens to one of those other trees, then these trees are growing up, and then they're gonna start thriving. So,
And I just was asking you to reconsider that and rethink, because I would be delighted, well, not delighted, obviously, if one of those trees with a big canopy had a disease or it died or whatever, of replacing it. I don't think that's an issue at all. Just the issue is that you don't want to have young trees compete for the sunlight that they need and be vulnerable to different problems because they didn't get enough sun. That's all. I want to see a tree to grow up, be big and strong and healthy.
Mary?
Don't be insulted by this question. Have you,
Never.
have you considered alternative species that would do well on this, under the circumstances?
Yes, which we included, but actually, I believe Betsy had specifically requested that we put three white oaks.
My own view
You
of
did.
this property is that what jumps out at you is the lack of understory here. But,
And that's what we're trying to create. Yeah.
not to contradict anything that's been said about the value of a tree.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree, and I'm just offering you my professional opinion from doing many projects and seeing when they have that extreme competition for sunlight, when you have big canopies, the little trees are gonna lose all day long. So rather than, when we plant a tree, I have to put fewer of my native shrubs because I have to allow, for room for the tree to grow. So in a sense, even though you have a benefit of putting a tree, you're losing out on your number of shrubs.
Yeah, I'm not trying to push the issue so much as just make sure,
Yeah.
maybe there's a compromise that we could, but that's all.
Jamie?
I'm on the quorum.
Oh, that's right.
I can't speak, right, Betsy?
Mike?
Actually,
Speak.
wait, we don't
just
know
can't
who.
vote.
When I'm spoken to.
Who is in this quorum? Were you here for this?
Everybody but Jamie.
Oh, okay. We didn't ask for it, that's why.
I knew what it was. I knew he wasn't,
You're
but I
good.
wasn't going to say anything.
Mike?
I have no comments on the planting of the plans. I like it. I will say that the graphic for showing where the stump was is very appropriate. Even a guy like I can understand where it was. I appreciate it.
Kristen?
Yeah, it's easy to see, the staking. I have a question. You had a planting area down in that low area right next to the wetland. You had a tupelo there, but what else is going to be planted there?
I'm probably gonna put some winterberry down there. When you get into those very wet areas, you need to plant shrubs and trees that can handle having their feet wet, so to speak.
Right.
And both of those can. And I know on the planting plan, I shaded it in those lower areas with shrubs that are appropriate for wetland. Well, not wetland, but, where there's a lot of water.
It is wet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very wet down there, yeah. And low, so, things that, like you said, things that don't get sun.
Exactly. I mean, I'm all about, don't just plant it to reach the
Right.
quantities, plant it so it's gonna thrive.
Right, but I
You
must
know?
say, I kind of disagree about the trees, because a natural forest, the trees grow up regardless. They may take a little longer because they don't have sun, but you look at a natural forest, and you've got large trees and little trees and medium
Sure.
size. So,
And there are a lot of trees out there,
well, I mean, it's
and
pretty
we're adding
cleared.
quite a few more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a natural forest, it's clear.
No.
So there's sun that can get in there. That's just, so I think trees, that's my opinion.
Courtney?
I hear your comments about planting trees, but I want you, I know it may be a bit of a stretch, but I want you to realize that, in fact, I'm an acorn from a white oak, and I just landed on the floor from my mother tree. And I'm in the floor of the forest. What advice do you have for me in order to survive? In other words,
Plenty of
what I'm really
fertilizer.
getting at, in another way,
Don't
is
sit
how
near
do
a
these
big
things grow up in a forest environment?
Because over time, you have a natural balance between nature and the elements, kind of weeding out the weakest species, or you have nor'easters and snow that break limbs and create pockets of sunlight. You have heavy windstorms, we don't have tornadoes around here, but.
I know all about that, and that's what I'm saying. In other words, when you suggest that these trees won't survive, clearly.
No, I didn't say they wouldn't survive, they just won't thrive. And this goes back a long time ago, Goodwill Park, we had a microburst that blew
Yes.
through there. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yes.
And it blew down all these beautiful,
Nice swamp.
Yeah.
right? And now you see the
Yeah, it was Hurricane
understory
Bob,
growing
yeah.
up, because now you have that sunlight that's exposed. I live out way past the high school. I have a big parcel of land, and the same thing, I want to say, Dave Peterson owned a parcel right on the main road that for years was cut. I want to say maybe his daughter, someone had horses, and they were cutting it, and it was beautiful, and then they stopped cutting it, and you saw over the years, and it's been like 25 years maybe, it grow back up into a forest. So certainly, when you have sunlight available, things thrive. And that's the point I'm getting at. I have no doubt that these 3 oaks will survive. I just would rather see them thrive. And we're stacking the deck against them when you have large trees with big canopies blocking their sun. And Jeff Johnson and I actually put a lot of time and effort into literally like hand placing where we wanted to even put those cupolas, because I'm all for, do it once and do it right. You want to have a successful project, and you want the area to revegetate itself. So pick your best species for the site, put them in the place that they can take advantage of the sun, the nutrients, and, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm convinced.
Good for you, little acorn.
Acorn with a haircut.
So,
Right?
Hang on a second.
I
Hang
noticed.
on, hang
cut some
on.
branches down so I get the sun.
got a
It's a
motion?
little vista clearing.
Semi-annual.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. We got a motion by Betsy. I need a second to close this hearing.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. So, you got that, Susan? Okay, so we have a
I told you we had
motion
long
and a
night.
second. Any other comments or questions from the commission? No
Who
more
seconded,
acorn, no
Mr.
more
Chairman?
acorn.
Mr. Chairman, Susan needs to know who
I'm sorry,
seconded.
Mike Powers.
And I have to tell you, I
Any more
love
acorn
coming before
things?
you guys.
Courtney, you good?
I think I might have,
Why
but
would
that
that
doesn't
be?
matter.
Call the vote.
Put you on the spot there.
All right,
Off the record.
so, and no comments from the audience. Any other things from the commission? Nothing.
Courtney's lucky he wasn't an acorn this year, because there were a lot of an abundance of acorns that came
Okay.
down.
I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in
Happy
favor say
squirrels.
aye. All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
No, I was saying, I enjoy coming before this commission. I love your questions.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Some of the other towns, they're a little bit more serious. Not that you guys are not, wait a minute.
Have a great weekend.
I knew, I would have bet my house that was gonna be the word you were gonna
ahead of
use.
yourself there.
Yeah, you think about it now.
No, the correct way to put it
If I were you,
is no sense of humor.
get some more
How's that?
Dour, how's that?
Right?
Thank you, Marie.
And I've had some cases that are comical. Courtney, come to me for a while. Saw the humor in it.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Okay,
Thank
next
you.
up is Robert and Lorraine Williams, 26 Eel River Road, East Falmouth. Jen?
Continue.
Continued. The next 3 hearings, Mr. Chairman, have been continued to April 13th.
Very good, so we're gonna move on to vote of order of conditions.
Correct.
101.
If I wasn't in the forum.
Falmouth Heights Road. Majority, this was the house with the pool.
Yes, was the
and
house
they-
with the
I
pool.
don't understand why they're tearing it down, but
Yeah,
it's
we
his
got
own.
Nobody does.
Beautiful house.
Wow. Looks like it's 3
There
years
were a
old.
couple of findings. You wanted the finding that the wharf in between resource area and chain link fence. Oh, yeah, that the wharf is in between the basically land under the ocean, the harbor, and a chain link fence. I mean, the resource, so, yeah, get that.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so Susan, this is in the Inner Harbor, so the buffer's here, then we have like the wharf, and then we have the resource area. And it's separated by a chain link fence.
Ready for the middle?
Absolutely.
I move that we,
Wait, no, we have another one. We wanted a finding that there were non-native vegetation within the buffer.
Yes.
And Mike, you wanted a benchmark on the plan.
yes,
And
At least when they
that
start
chain li-
construction.
Yeah, that chain link is a proposed chain link fence, but the finding is the wharf is in between the resource area and the buffer, so
Right.
the chain link fence isn't that intrusive.
And we don't know that it's non-native, right? I said that I didn't know whether.
You didn't
whether
know,
it
we're gonna
is.
look at the old plan.
Yeah. Is it the same form?
Beth, can you let us know what the
What are
quorum
we-
is? We
what are
haven't
we
quite
working on?
mapped, we haven't gotten to quorum sheets yet in training. We're getting there.
Let's move it along.
Quite nicely, actually.
Yes, it is.
101, Falmouth Heights Road.
I know, I haven't found it yet.
Maggiore.
Will it be the same form?
No. Yes.
Okay, the quorum is Mary, Betsy, Russ, Mike, Kristen, Courtney.
Look.
Mary,
Everybody except Jamie.
Yeah,
we,
so it's the same.
didn't we just close all these last week?
No, I think we held a few over from a previous
Yes, we
meeting.
did.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah,
Remember we cut it in
did.
half or something,
You
Jim?
know, it was-
You're right.
Yep.
No, you're right.
He
You were
recused
in one of
himself
those.
and never
No,
came.
everybody
Well,
but
in this
Jamie.
case, it's everybody but Jamie.
Yes.
Everybody but Jamie.
Look at the others.
Okay, so anything else on 101 Falmouth Heights Road?
make a
Move
motion
to
to
adopt.
accept the project to discuss.
Second.
So a motion by Mike, second by Mary. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Lot 22E, Associate Road.
This is Mary, Betsy, Russ, Mike, Kristen, Courtney.
This is the beach.
Yes, it is.
This is the beach.
This is the beach.
There, on top.
This is the beach. So they're proposing multiple activities. They have made some modifications. Wait a minute. To the to the plan, including moving some of those boat racks for us out of the dune area. You did have some special conditions, that there be no enclosure around the rent station.
What is the situation with the line that they're on, the water line? That they're wanted to run?
They're working with,
Rafferty.
Steve Rafferty on that. He issued a letter on that one. The grill is portable. Remember I asked about this grill structure, and they said it was portable grill. They did develop the hurricane plan,
I do, actually.
so that was addressed. You have two things that are of concern to the staff. One is, we don't recommend the relocation of that cedar.
The relocation of,
The cedar tree,
okay.
but that's up to you. We just don't think it's gonna transplant. And second of all, they are proposing a little bit of a fence and a V-zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
it's
and
real.
that's,
What, their
This
reasoning
came-
was for marking the, for the
well,
cars?
delineating it, yeah, but
I don't
you
know
may
if that was a
recall,
problem in that.
the same night, we denied a very similar thing.
This is true in
And-
North Falmouth,
Yep,
right?
and it
Be
was
consistent.
mentioned that in deliberation, that would be an issue here.
Be consistent.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
That they could delineate by,
There are all sorts of ways.
well, by vegetation.
No so no fence, no transplant of cedar.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Because there's no reason to move it, it's not in any path or any,
And the
so
ones
there
who
was no
make
reason.
it, let them,
There's also a
let them
large
fight
oak
it out.
in the,
There you go.
that was in the shoulder of the road.
Yeah.
That needed to be protected.
Mm-hmm. And then delineate parking area with veg. Got it.
So was there, did you have a problem with the dock? Did they need to amend the original license?
You shut me down on the
I'm
discussion of
just
the
saying,
dock.
I'm
I got a
bringing it
little
up
uppity
now.
about the
Do we
dock.
need to do that or not?
Basically, the float's not permitted.
Well, let them get it permitted, but let them put it in this year.
That's up to you guys.
Let's give them 1 year to get it
So I
permitted.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
I think let them do it this year. That's a big program,
Right.
It's huge.
Sounds
big
good.
program for
benefit.
lots of kids in
Yeah, whatever.
West Falmouth. But they have to do it. We would hate to have them have to shut it down if they didn't have it permitted by next year.
Yeah, give me a year. Give me a year.
Yeah, I mean, if we let it go this year, and that gives, with them understanding they get the process going, so they're
Yeah.
all good next year.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, that should give them plenty of time.
April 1st.
To 2017.
Cool. Anything else, Jen? Did you want to specify what type of vegetation?
No.
It's gonna
let them do-
delineate
no.
the
They
parking?
can suggest it and have
They
it
can-
okay
they
by
can do
Jen.
it.
Okay.
I mean, I like the idea of vegetation, but I wouldn't have an issue if they simply delineate it with posts in the ground, because it's, as long as they're deep enough, they're not gonna be an issue. It's all the other stuff,
Concrete bumpers.
yeah, concrete bumpers.
Yeah, they should.
They don't float.
Do you want to give them that option?
I would say concrete,
They come back to
I think
us, then.
vegetation is good.
Yeah.
Okay. I
It'll
agree.
cost them less than concrete bumpers.
And the cars too.
Okay.
When they pump them.
I move that we vote, I mean, that we, yeah.
Issue the order as
Adopt
discussed.
it, order is discussed.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any other?
Susan wants to go home. I can tell.
So that was Betsy, and then Mike was the second, okay. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. 93 Falmouth Heights Road, Road and Heiser. Now, that's the condos, right?
That's the seawall.
Oh, the seat.
Yeah. But it's
seawall.
behind the condos, 'cause
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and they're just
Same
changing the
project.
way they're doing the seawall.
Right, they're
They're changing the way, they're repairing the wall, they're changing the methodology.
Right. I move to accept the application.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I would add the same conditions you have, I believe it's on 89 Falmouth Heights Road, because they employ the same methodology, that's why they're matching. It's either, I think it's 89. I could be wrong, but you guys know which one I'm talking.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems like an improvement to me. I move that we adopt the order as discussed.
Okay, now we have, next to a different.
Okay, motion by Mary and a second by Mike. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Great Bay Street.
Okay, this is Jamie. Jamie can speak again.
Thank you, Betsy.
This is the plan.
I appreciate that.
This is the coastal plan.
Mary, Betsy, Russ, Mike, Courtney.
Oh, Christian, you're out of this one.
I know.
Coastal Bank stabilization. They are doing the fiber logs, doing the beach nourishment, re-straightening or realigning the existing revetment. And a couple of the issues that came up during deliberation was they want basically maintenance ability in perpetuity. They want beach nourishment in perpetuity.
I have a
I
problem with
have
that.
an issue with that.
No.
And then they want to be able to maintain invasive plant management in perpetuity. So, I know that this is maybe how some of their projects are. I know some towns that do it, but I don't think this board is comfortable with that. So how would you like them to do the project and then come back for a certificate of compliance and do maintenance under an RDA.
Correct.
Yes, there you
Okay.
go.
And-
Also, Jen, you had made the point, I think a very good point, that they could use some shrubbery for
No, I was getting
stabilization.
there, yeah.
Okay.
They also just do maintenance under RDA.
Yeah, there was a big point
And
made
then
that
they
stuff
had-
might go down behind.
I mean, there's 2,100 square feet of invasive removal, and they're proposing to plant it with grasses,
Grasses.
and I think shrub material needs to be incorporated in that.
Definitely.
And especially right along the
Yeah,
upper
I think it would
edge.
keep
So
the
how,
vandalism to a
how,
minimum.
I mean, how much shrub material is the board
50/50,
envisioning?
or you wanna?
Well, certainly a row, or maybe two along that upper edge.
The entire length.
They come back to us?
Huh?
The entire length.
Yeah,
The length of it
Yeah, the entire
Be
length.
approved by staff?
yeah, I'm not, I don't think a single row does much. You've got to stagger it, you've got to have some depth.
Well, there's not much, it drops
It's-
like this.
yeah,
right?
it drops.
There's
There's
not
not
much,
Tough spot.
there's not much
Lateral space.
lateral space, but there is
Because it all
space,
went away.
there is space
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
single row, and then it's a really steep, it goes like that.
Yeah, but how viable will those be?
They will be,
Well, the invasives are doing well.
yeah, they'll be
And
fine.
their invasives will do well on the steep
To
slope
be
too,
honest, I
right?
think that I think there's, the resistance to the, Jen's suggestion had to do
Was
with
cost.
that. No, I think it has to do with the invasives are going because they block the view,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
It's true.
So,
But they also, they also pointed out that one of the worries in a system like this, because it's such a steep slope, is to have water draining behind it,
right.
basically stuff pushing out. So certainly along that top edge, and as,
do we want them to plant some, put jute or anything down?
Yeah,
On the-
well, that's all
They've got
part
all
of
the
That's all part of
that's
their
all part of
thing.
the biolog system.
that's all part of it. Yeah, we'll
But I
do
mean,
like,
above the biologs.
we'll do like 2-gallon containers for
But
them.
yeah.
And then-
The grass isn't planted in the biologs.
Yeah,
Right.
and
So,
then
the
another
shrubs
special
on the top.
condition is to check and monitor with photos annually and after every major storm event.
He's planted, I've seen some of his projects before, and he's planted shrubs in those
Yeah.
biologs.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I was
Yes.
surprised to see the resistance that we saw, which is why I think what I think.
And it really, it's an additional cost to start with, but it's really gonna help in the maintenance of it.
It is. It really is.
Just for the record, I'm a little uncomfortable with the commission making recommendations on how to do things. We either say what we want, or we tell people what to do, but we can't do both.
What
If you tell them to
recommendation?
put in a bush and it doesn't work, it's on us. If we can tell them what they want, then it's okay, but I don't like this
But Mike,
mixed
they're not,
kind of
they're not
specification.
putting,
Makes me uncomfortable.
okay.
We told them we were gonna have them add shrubs to the system, and that we would add it during deliberation. And that's what we're
Yes, so
discussing
Mike,
right
if
now.
if you look at where they're proposing the shrub material, it's not within the biolog area, that's where they're removing the invasive along the top. And then the biolog area is down along the bank down here. I mean, if you're uncomfortable, we can just tell them to come back and have the plan approved by you, and they can give their reasoning. It's fine with me.
Yeah, I'd rather see them, make them decision and let them come back and us approve it. I don't like us designing things.
Okay, so how would you want me to do that? So,
Closes already.
just have them submit a revised plan showing shrub material, and have you guys approve it before implementation?
Sure.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and you can, when you do that, tell them that we want shrub material along the top, between the
Okay.
road and the
Okay.
slope.
All right.
That's a good way to
I
put it.
move that we issue the order as discussed.
Second.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. 39 Point Road, this was the swimming pool deal.
And Jamie can speak again. But Kristen has to recuse herself from speaking.
Be an acorn.
Kristen can be an acorn.
Oh, boy.
Maybe a willow. Maybe a willow,
Okay, we do need to make a finding on,
They cut down the amount of,
wait a minute,
what did they, there was something they were doing that they changed.
hang on.
They changed the pool, so there was no fence.
Well, they got rid of the fence.
They deleted the buffer restoration.
Yeah,
Yeah, the invasives, they were gonna do something with the invasives, and they also changed where, at the end of the driveway, where they took out pavement, they were gonna have shrubs and they changed it. But I mean, that was still all, I mean, that was still within our
Basically,
regulations.
you need to make a finding that none of the work associated with Blue Flag Designs plan is
part
approved,
of
because
this.
they, yeah.
It's part of
Right,
this.
no longer.
okay.
No, other than that, it was pretty straightforward. Remove portion of driveway plant with lawn, meeting conservation commission. Yeah, so they're still removing the driveway. Okay. And they're putting in the pool, and they don't need a fence. No fence is required because they're building the pool. Remember, all they need is the
Off the-
gate.
just need a
Yeah.
gate to get the
Gate
gate
in.
That's all I got.
Okay?
Okay. Anything else?
Move that we accept this discussion.
Second.
Motion by Betsy, second by Mike.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstention, unanimous, so moved. So that was
I'm not going in.
Betsy did the motion to adjourn, and Mike seconded it.
Acorn required. Yes, ma'am.